The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi there. Happy Friday, everybody. Appreciate you taking a little time to join us. My name is Josh LeMaster, and I'm one of the co-founders and the Chief Financial Officer of Perfect Golf Event. And in a minute here, you're going to be hearing from Eric Anderson with Vortex Weather Insurance. We really appreciate our multi-year partnership we've had with Vortex. Let me tell you a little bit about how that came about. We're Perfect Golf Events in our 10th year. And over the 10 years, we've worked with tens of thousands of golf events all around the country. And we've always looked for ways that these events could reduce their risk of operating their events. And the thing that comes up a lot is rain. And event cancellation insurance has always been around. I've been familiar with it from 30 years in the golf business, but event cancellation insurance can be a bit complicated, and for some of our events was not the right choice. Eric will tell you a little bit more about the differences. So as we've gotten to know Vortex and seen what they can do and how easy it is for the event organizers that use our platform and our services, we've really come to like this relationship. So hope you learn a lot today. Everything you see on the screen, you're going to get both a recording and a PDF of all the slides you're going to see on the screen. Of course, I'll have contact information. So that'll be passed along maybe 30 minutes after we finish today. I'm going to be keeping an eye on if anybody raises their hand or asks a question on chat on the tools that you see on your GoToWebinar dashboard there. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always reach out. So all of that said, we'll save a little time for questions at the end. And Eric, why don't you jump in?
Josh, thank you so much for the introduction there. Welcome, everyone, to our 17th webinar of 2024, our final one. We have a big group on here today, so we appreciate everyone taking the time. Like Josh said, we're going to go about 20 minutes. I'm going to go through the presentation, followed by a Q&A, and then you're going to get the presentation with the deck. So, but afterwards, I hope to hear from all of you so I can walk you through your questions and price up your event for 2025. Throughout the presentation, whether you're a first-time organizer or you've been doing this for 10 plus years, you want to think about the effect of rain, whether it rains a little bit, a medium amount, or a lot, and the effect it can have on your expected revenue, the cost that you're incurring, whether you're just getting started and it's a very, very small tournament, or you're looking to raise, through the different years, a lot of money for different charities, memorials, etc. And the effect that it can have if you do have rain that hurts those numbers. We're excited to be working with Josh and the team at PGE. Now we're going to be going on our 4th year in 2025. They're the best in the business. We're very excited. It's a great partnership, and we truly appreciate working with them. So as we get into the presentation, I'll look for your questions at the end. And again, you're going to be getting this presentation sent to you. So we like to say, don't let bad weather slice into your club's bottom line. You can't predict the weather, but you can help protect your business from it. Okay, and here's a myth. Insurance agencies don't know weather. It turns out we are weather nerds. Our group, I've been working with these folks for 25 years. Our team has over 100 years of combined experience in the weather risk management industry. We've been helping protect events, all events, since 2008 using data-driven policies that mitigate risk. A little bit about us. We are a subsidiary of MSI Guaranteed Weather, which has been in the weather risk management industry for more than a quarter century. And since 2008, the Vortex Weather Insurance arm has specialized in insurance products for outdoor events such as fairs and festivals, concerts, bouncy castles, lacrosse tournaments, racetracks, etc. And in 2019, we started offering protection for golf tournaments, properties, country clubs, anything from a small fundraiser all the way up to the PGA and Champions Tour that buys from me, and everything in between. I get asked this a lot: who's our carrier? Who writes our paper? That's our parent company, Mitsui Sumitomo. We are rated A+ best. This is a picture of me. I've been the National Director of Sales since 2019. I've been in the space 25 years. I played golf professionally before that. I worked at Augusta National in Georgia. So I've played in tournaments. I've run tournaments. I know the pain points in putting events together and really what's at risk. So what I try to do is understand your current equation, and then I help you really manage that risk with the right hours, the right amount to protect and insure. And I look forward to doing that for you after our call. A myth in the golf business: you can't fight Mother Nature. And we say not so fast. You can stand up to Mother Nature and help protect your revenue with Vortex. Across the country, savvy golf course operators, tournament organizers are using rain insurance as a risk management hedge. And as a hedge, you want to think about all the different things that you can hedge. Monday golf outings, heavy play periods. We do seasonal heavy play weekends, monthly hedges, holiday weekends, members, member guests, multi-day charities and fundraisers. If there's an evening prior, a gala and into the golf the next day, sometimes it's 3-day events. We can insure all of that. And then you want to say to yourself, what's at risk within these tournaments, these pro-ams, member guests, corporate outings, fundraisers, obviously the money you're trying to raise, okay? The equation that goes into that, the food and bev, huge driver, obviously, for all the tournaments. But you want to think about, for the tournaments and the demo days, charities, memorials, what is really at risk? It's the bottom line and the number you're trying to achieve. This is a very important slide. Rain insurance versus P&C insurance. The chance of sustaining an adverse rain occurrence for a golf event is significantly greater compared to traditional P&C events. Okay, so here's the chance of a potential insurance claim on a single day over a 20-year period for car insurance. Okay, very low. And home insurance even lower. Now, when you look at this next slide, across the country, as a comparison, here's the chance of just a quarter of an inch of rain falling on any single day, just between June and August, okay? Significantly greater. So there's a myth out there: rain insurance is complex, and over the years, we've made it very, very simple to understand and to place. And this is how it works. Rain insurance is parametric. What does that word mean? That means that rain insurance is triggered simply if the recorded rainfall at your location meets or exceeds the threshold listed in the policy during the coverage period. Okay, another very important bullet point here: proof of loss or event cancellation is not necessary for the policy to trigger and pay a claim. Very different than, say, indemnity, okay, insurance. Also, the claim process, it's very fast. This isn't 6 months, 9 months, a year down the road with an adjuster, okay? Simple enough. If the amount of rain triggers within the hours that you buy, we get the data from the NOAA, the government, within the grid that you sit, and we send you, if it triggers, we send you a check in less than 2 weeks. And when you're getting that money, okay, you can do whatever you want with the money. You could put part of it to the charity, part of it to the cost, part of it to, the different pieces of the puzzle that you were trying to get to make sure that your day was, set to the goals. So again, the money is up to you how you want to spend it after you receive it so quickly. Okay, how rain insurance works. We use something called Stage 4 Claim Determination System, okay? The whole country is gridded in 2.5 mile by 2.5 mile squares. Within your square, your address, okay, falls within that square. So it's very different than, say, having an airport that might be 5 miles away. There could be basis risk in the reading. It could be raining there and not at your property, or vice versa. Well, we make that go away. We come right down on top of your property. We show you the hourly recordings from the government per hour on the hour, okay, in an expiration report. And if it triggers, you're paid. Also, we provide recorded hourly precipitation measurements as little as 0.01 inches, and we write policies as low as 1/10 of an inch, okay? Everything, you know, 1/10 of an inch is going to be more expensive than, say, an inch, just because of probability. But we can show you the different ranges, and I look forward to doing that for you. Okay, the different kinds of policy options. The shotgun coverage, typical in the golf space. Say, you know, a noon shotgun, it's usually 5 hours. We hope it's 5 or less. Sometimes it's 6. Sometimes there's double shotguns in a day. I've written several policies, 2 in one day, as one tournament's one event in the morning's leaving, the other one's starting in the afternoon. Ladder coverage on the right here. So I'll show you this example in a second, but the more that it rains, the more that it's triggered, and the more that you're paid out, versus you know, having one threshold, and I'm going to show you that as well. Then there's the extended hours. There's a lot of events that say you might have the golf course for the day, but your shotgun starts at 9. Well, what happens if it starts raining at 3 in the morning, and then it stops at 8, and the course is unplayable? Well, you only bought a policy, say, from 9 until 2. You're not covered. So what I do is I'll show you where to buy the hours. Just say people are going to get up and it's raining and they don't want to come to the golf course because the forecast is crummy, and you lose 25% of your field. Right there, you just lost so much money in your expected goals. So I always encourage, based on budget, and I understand that for some budgets are tight. I get it. So what we do is we'll show you different options, say for 6 hours, for 5 hours. We'll move that range around, say on the early side. I'd rather you buy hours on the front end than, say, when they're coming down 15, 16, 17 and it starts to rain, because most everyone is going to want to go inside if they're wet and have the big lunch and the fundraiser, or have the big dinner and have cocktails and hopefully spend money for your charity. And I'll show you all that, how that works. Okay, the parametric options, important to understand. The hours of coverage, that can vary per day for multi-day events, that I was just touching on, where we can put the hours that you want to control. The different thresholds, we can, and I'm going to show you all of these. As low as 1/10 of an inch, we can actually go through an inch of rain if you want, say, a tailish event. So the limits can vary per day. You can have, if you have a multi-day event, or if you have a double event in a day, I can show you how that works as well. Now, this is important as well. The use of hourly data allows us to concentrate only on the hours when rainfall could negatively impact business operations, which I was touching on. If we eliminate hours in a day when revenue figures are not sensitive, okay, helps reduce the cost of insurance. If you have a 100-person tournament or 120, and they're all there, okay, if we put the hours on the front end rather than the back end, it starts raining on the 16th hole, you have everyone. They're there at your event. So that's where we can get creative. So we maximize the hours that you're buying, which is very important. Okay, so here's a grid. And I could send you what this looks like historically, say for the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. This is around the corner from Josh and I, down here in North Florida at TPC at Ponte Vedra. If you look, this is a grid for the month of July on for 12 hours, just on a 1/2 inch. Okay, a lot of rain. Obviously, you can see that it triggers more in the afternoon than the morning. But I can show you historically in and around your tournament date what that looks like. here's another myth. Rain insurance is too expensive. In reality, our team works for you to create a policy that fits your needs and your budget. And I'm going to work with you. If you say, Eric, I have $500, or if I have $3,000, or anything in between, working with the underwriters is what we do best. And we can find that sweet spot to maximize hours and minimize cost. The factors that go into the pricing: geographic location. Down here in Florida, it rains more in the summer than it does in the winter. Rains more in the afternoon than it does in the morning. The seasonality, okay, time of day, all of these factors, are very important to consider when we're getting to that sweet spot for you, the customer. Okay, so here's an example. Everyone says, okay, Eric, what's it going to cost? Here down at PGA National, here's a 5-hour event, a shotgun in February, so late morning into early afternoon. This is on $10,000 of limit. A fifth of an inch costs $420, a third of an inch, and then a half of an inch. So what does that mean? That means that if you say bought B, a third of an inch, it would cost you $300. So in the hours between 10 and 3, it doesn't matter if it starts raining at 10:01 or 2:59. If it rains in bursts, if it rains for the first hour and then it's beautiful and it triggers, as long as the aggregate amount of rain hits 0.33 or higher, you're paid. That's how it works. Okay, so here's the ladder approach. Here at TPC Sawgrass again in the winter. If you were to buy this policy on $150,000, the premium is $3,471. If it were to rain through 0.20 and not touch 0.33, you would get $15,000. If it were to rain between 10 and 3 through 0.33 and not touch 0.5, you get the $15,000 and the $45,000. So the more that it rains, the more that it adds, and the more that you're paid back. This is the ladder approach. Okay, so here's an example of a multi-day event at Snee Farm in South Carolina. As you can see, the limit that they're covering each day, which is independent of the other days, is $12,000. The coverage period is different. The first day was 11 to 7, second day 9 to 3, last day where they had the playoff was 9 to 6. They kept the threshold the same, the limit the same, but the hours were different. Okay. So it could trigger the first day, be beautiful the next 2, or say be beautiful the next day and trigger the third day. To cover $36,000 in October for these 3 days in these time coverage periods was $1,640. Okay, so here's a sample payout. A customer of ours that's done multiple policies with us. Their event, they did have a rain date. He got paid out quickly, and he went ahead and he bought a policy for the rain date. So I always encourage groups, even if you have a rain date, typically the rain dates don't pull the same amount of people, especially if the rain date is a little bit further out. People can't get off of work, etc. So just say, you want to cover 25,000. Maybe you cover 15,000 on this event or 25,000 on this event. And then if it does trigger, you can change the amount for the next event. You can hedge the different amounts for the different events, even if you have rain dates. But we highly encourage that you still put something in place. These are our partners, the PGA sections. We've done thousands of events around the country on all levels. A lot of the PGA sections have bought back from us. PGA Magazine, I've done a lot of NFL alumni charity events. The Dick's Sporting Goods Open Champions Tour event, I was just with at the tour meetings in Orlando this week. They're going to go on their 4th year with us. The Travelers, their 3rd year. They both had 6-figure payouts. The rain triggered their policy, and they continued, especially the Dicks. They had Luke Bryan was playing Friday night. The rain came late afternoon. It triggered. They got their check, and Luke took the stage at 9 o'clock. So that's another thing to think about. You can play through, okay, the hours that you buy. You can trigger, continue to have your event, okay, and get paid. So basically you can double dip. So that's something to consider if you just have a steady rain all day long, which is, you know, a lot of people talk about cancellation insurance, which is good for some events, but just say it rained a lot, okay, and they didn't cancel it. If you had our rain insurance in place, it would have triggered your policy. So just make sure that you understand the line items in the language in your cancellation policy versus what we provide. Folds of Honor, they buy from us every year. Buffalo Group is all of our marketing. Perfect Golf event. We're going into our 4th year. We're super excited to work with Josh again. Here are a couple testimonials from past customers that have worked with us for many years. And before we come to a conclusion for our last and final webinar of the season, Josh, are there any questions? Anybody raise their hand I can help with?
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I don't see any hands raised right now, but I did have a couple folks reach out during the presentation, and let me combine questions here. So this deals with timing and the cost, you know, just kind of how does purchasing in advance or not purchasing in advance impact the price, and does the price change over time? Those kind of similar questions.
Yeah, no, great questions. So to put it in perspective, we encourage that you buy it as far in advance as possible, okay? Typically, the prices usually go up. If you bought from me today, or if I quoted you something today, you have that price for 45 days. That's a lock, okay? Usually the prices won't deviate much from that, but we encourage you buy it on the earlier side. The last day that you can purchase and bind coverage prior to your event is 15 days. So if you're if that 15th day falls on a Saturday or Sunday, you'd have to buy it on the Friday. But most people buy it in advance, but we understand that sometimes, you know, you're trying to get a sponsor to pay for it, or you're still trying to raise funds, and it might come down to the last day or two. We understand that. Also, to put the policy in place is very simple. We do all the work, and we tee it up for you, so to speak. You can purchase it on a link using your credit card. So it's very, very easy to work with us on that.
Thanks, Eric. I think we covered the questions that we're going to cover here live. And Eric, I just want to emphasize one other thing that, you know, just is so important for, you know, all the events that operate through the Perfect Golf Event platform is just the flexibility that your product provides, that, you know, they can still have their event, you know, even though, you know, some people might be impacted by the rain and not come or leave early, but your product would pay out regardless. And I think that's just really an important aspect of this. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. You can play through the rain. It can trigger, so you can double dip. We're very flexible in the hours. I love getting on with customers and having calls one-on-one, so I can walk them through the many ways that we can help put the correct policy in place at the most cost-effective opportunity. I see, is someone else raising their hand there, Josh?
No, I think we're covered. And yeah, Eric, I so much appreciate your time and your presentation. I hope everybody thinks about Perfect Golf Event as you are working on your events next year. And of course, Vortex will be standing by to help you protect your fundraising revenue. And I hope everyone has a great holiday season. We'll be getting out an email just a few minutes with all the details of everything you've seen. And Eric, why don't you take it?
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Josh. And again, thank you for everyone attending today. Very big group. Please reach out to me, email me. I look forward to meeting all of you. Everyone have a happy holiday season, and I look forward to 2025 and putting our weather insurance in place for your event. Thanks so much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.